Welcome to the Mind of Basketball Podcast, also known as the M.O.B Podcast, NBA Playoffs Edition. I am Evan.
I'm Ja.
And this is our basketball podcast. We recap, break down, and analyze players and teams in the playoffs from the previous games from the previous day. Ja. A very eventful Saturday, beginning of the NBA playoffs. Very, very eventful. Very fun, very entertaining.
Yeah.
No blowouts, really. When you think of it, it was a fun day of basketball, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it was. Highly competitive, highly entertaining, close games, down to the wire stretches, big runs in last moments. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much to discuss. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Well, I guess start with them boys right behind me. The Portland Trail Blazers going up against the Denver Nuggets, and the Denver Nuggets fans wish they never booed Melo. Denver Nuggets, they booed Melo. Melo said, okay. Now I'm gonna give you something to boo. And that's something that we've not even touched about. Playoff series against his former team.
Yeah.
Melo Anthony. And with their reaction, he made a point to show out. He made a point to play well. And it was like immediate. Once he heard him, okay. You know, he's signing a Jordan, so
yeah.
Kind of took that person. And he went off.
Yeah.
He went back-to-back threes, another three late in the quarter. I mean, he went on a run by himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's how great Melo was for this team. And but on the opposite side, the Nuggets, man, Mike Porter Jr. He's you said Aaron Gordon for you is a key part of for this series. I say Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with the season that he's been having this year, he's really stepped into his role, and he has become what everybody thought that he would become. Barring the injury, of course, because that was the only problem that he had entering the draft. That's the reason why he fell so low in the lottery. Was because of that injury.
Yeah.
But everybody knows the talent, and now we're seeing it.
Yeah.
And he had himself a great game. And Jokic, the MVP, had himself a great game too, on scoring, but not passing really.
Yeah.
Didn't have that many assists.
Yeah.
And this was a really good game. This was pretty competitive, back and forth for majority of that game. But I mean, the second half of the Blazers. I already mentioned Melo. Damian Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Lillard got hot. He got hot in that third quarter, and it was nearing trouble for this Nuggets team.
Exactly.
It was nearing trouble. I mean, he had himself a great game. CJ also put in some buckets. Anthony Simons also put in some buckets. He had himself a good game. Also the hustle was there for this Blazers team.
Yeah.
The hustle, the intensity, the energy. Norman Powell, who's an NBA champion, so he's been in these stages before the playoffs, so he's no stranger to that. Nurkic was also big time for them. It wasn't just for this Blazers, it wasn't just one person. Like, it was everybody that contributed to this big game. And then the Nuggets had found themselves down, and they had to try to climb back, but they
Yeah.
just couldn't. They couldn't stop this Blazers team late in that second half and late in that fourth quarter. As a result, it was the Blazers picking up the game one win.
Yeah. And just like what you allude to all great points. You know what I mean? Melo, like he owns a lot of property down there. You know, like you know what I mean. That's all his. They forgot who they got way back, like way back in the day, and he had to remind them who he is. Well, nothing, but yeah, he had a great game. Of course, Melo doing Melo things. I don't think you need to question that at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. And again, the Blazers offense, we know how good it could really be. You know what I mean? How good it could really be, especially in second half situations like that, like this, like what happened last night. Like, the way that they just came alive in that second quarter, or things started to come together for them. And I said in that second quarter, in that second half, and how they was able to also just specifically what you alluded to, that fourth quarter run, all because of that man, that man right there pointing at his left.
Dame
Yep.
Dollar.
He was able to he like yes, Melo came up big too in that fourth, but he hit some big time threes, of course. Like he even told Compazzo, "Get off me." And like just
Like
like
Capazzo was hounding them.
yeah,
He was being a little nuisance. That's what you got to do.
yeah,
I love the way he played.
yeah.
But
Didn't face
Dame
him
Dame kind of got too annoyed.
exactly. It didn't face him. And just like you said, CJ put up some buckets. And the Nuggets side, of course, yes, Michael Porter Jr. came up big time. Half 15 through three quarters, eventually came alive in that fourth, but it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. And this is situations where when you look at it, you was like, dang, I really wish that Jamal Murray was playing.
Yes.
Because those are the situations in which big time bucket after bucket, and you need somebody to go to. Don't and of course, again, you got Jokic, you got Porter, but we know what Murray could do when it gets down to closing moments like this.
Yeah.
And your team needs a big kind of boost in order to get on a run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really wish that he was playing. It kind of sucks that he's not there.
Yeah.
But the Nuggets gonna have to do that without him, and they've been doing it without him, and they've been playing well.
Yeah.
But for this game, it wasn't enough. The result, like I said, Blazers take a 1-0 series lead and a big win in Mile High City.
Yeah.
But all right. You mentioned Jamal Murray and that he, clutch fourth quarter buckets, big time buckets in late game situations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go to a game where it came down to late game situation buckets. And that is the first game starting the NBA playoffs and a rematch from last year's second round, a shocking upset. The Miami Heat going to Milwaukee to battle the Milwaukee Bucks. And this was just gritty, defensive, intensity, tough. A lot of hustle,
Mm-hmm. A lot of heart.
a lot of heart, a lot of contact.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And this is just back and forth and back and forth. Like no team, the Bucks, neither or the Heat had a double-digit lead at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It stayed within single digits for the entire game.
Crazy.
That's how neck and neck it was. From the get-go, you could see the Heat strategy on Giannis. And Giannis was struggling.
Yeah.
But Giannis eventually still got his.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just Giannis. That's just going to happen.
Exactly.
And he was struggling. But while he was struggling, there was another guy on the opposite side who was also struggling and far worse than what Giannis was. That was Jimmy Butler, shockingly.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler had a bad game. I don't know why he was struggling. He shooting threes. That's not his strong suit, and he wasn't making them.
Yeah.
You know, he
You know,
looked out of sorts. Looked out of rhythm.
well, you know Jimmy though. You know Jimmy's mentality. He said he felt like he could be the best at anything. Like he shoot him, he miss him, he gonna get it back. He gonna get it back again. He gonna just get.
Mm, yeah, true. I understand that with mentality. But someone who wasn't struggling from three, Duncan Robinson, he was lighting the Bucks up,
Yep.
lighting them up. I mean, three after three, Duncan Robinson, he was big time in this game,
Yeah.
big time. On the opposite side, your guy, your key to the Bucks, if they are to win this series, Drew Holiday. And man, was Drew Holiday doing he was doing everything all around, offense, defense. He was scoring. He was making plays for his teammates, setting them up. He was rebounding. He was getting steals. I mean, it's great to see what he can do on this team in this
Yeah.
situation because we've seen what he can do in the playoffs, and he's big time.
Yeah.
So it was great to see how well he was playing. Brook Lopez also stepped up for them, and he was taking it to the hoop. I mean, he was scoring inside, looking like the Brooklyn Nets Brook Lopez. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so that was fun. But like I said, this was back and forth, and no team had a single digit lead. This came down to the wire,
Mhm.
mainly because Giannis, please, with your free throws, please. Not only did he miss like 4 free throws late, he got a 10-second violation on the free throw because he took too long.
Scared.
Also, Jimmy also missed the big free throw as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, but if Giannis makes those free throws,
The Bucks just win it.
yeah, the Bucks win it. But he didn't, and the Heat found themselves down by 2, and Jimmy did have himself a pretty rough game. But when you need him, he's there. And Jimmy
Yep.
drives right on Giannis, takes it to the hoop at the buzzer to lay the ball up, tie the game, and send it into overtime.
Yep.
And in overtime, we got much of the same. Back and forth, big shot after big shot, big shot after big shot. And it came down to someone who I haven't talked about in these last few minutes, Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton, who also had himself a good game and finished, gave him the ball late. It's tie game. No shot clock left, so they want to take the last shot, and Middleton clutches up
Yeah.
with the
Contested.
game contested with the game winner to give the Bucks the 1-0 lead in the big win against Miami.
Yeah. There's another person you didn't allude to who had a really good game, who had a big shot that actually tied up the game before Middleton made that shot, and that was
Dragic, yes.
Dragic. Dragic came a big shot after big shot for this Heat team, even with Butler struggling. But and he could have with that shot, he could have possibly if Middleton misses that shot, it goes into a double overtime. But yet, just like what you said, beautiful fadeaway. I guess studying Kobe the night before, because over to like what was it like 2 to it looked like 2 to finish to me, but I could be wrong. But the way he raised up with that fadeaway, it was just pure art. Beautiful. Yeah. Game winner right there.
And one thing that I loved about this win for the Bucks is, did you see how what their play was late? It wasn't Giannis at the top of the key.
Yeah.
It was Giannis a lot of time in the post, Giannis in the paint. Usually it was Middleton holding the ball. It was Holiday going the ball. And they did that for most of the part of the game. They missed the match. They mixed it up. Giannis did have the ball at top of the key sometimes. He did take the ball down the court sometimes.
Yeah.
But all I wanted was just a little mix. It was too much of Giannis doing that the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I finally see that change Mike Budenholzer, change it up for this game, especially in those late game situations, especially in fourth quarter and in overtime.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the new way that I like the new style of play that they have. I feel like watching that game, like, you could just see, like, you could clearly see that this is a new Bucks team. You could clearly see it, like the way that they
I
were
hope
playing,
so.
that they were doing, the way that they were going, the pace that they were going at, and
Mm-hmm.
with Drew Holiday at the helm, especially, they look like they could run some new different things, and just like what you said, play Giannis more into the paint, keep the perimeter guys where they're supposed to be, and try to make something out of it. And that's what they did. And I really liked it a lot. I really liked the way that they was playing.
Yeah, and um, one thing I didn't like the Bucks is they shot terribly from deep. Terribly, terribly.
And you don't say that a lot about them
No, because
shooting.
they're a good 3-point shooting team.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't they beat the Heat early in the season by like with the crazy amount of 3-pointers?
Yes, by a
That
lot.
a record. I think they had the record. I think
Yes, they had, like, I think it was 24. I
it
could
was
be
yeah,
wrong.
it was something like that. I can't remember from the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they come out and it was. I mean, and most of them were good looks. They just
Yeah.
couldn't. They just couldn't fall. So that was a terrible shooting night for them from the mentioned Butler. Didn't have a tough cut team. A better second half than the first half. But if the Heat need to win this series, the Butler needs to step up in his game.
Yeah. There's no
No.
question. He's their best
Yeah,
player.
true. Bam also, he didn't have the best offensive game either.
Yeah.
He was kind of absent a little bit. So he needs to
Yeah.
play well, better if they don't want to have a chance to win this series. But we see the adjustments they make. This is this Heat team. I don't
I,
lose faith in this team in terms of that regard.
yeah. I wouldn't either if I was if I
So I
was
expect some changes
yeah.
in game two. But what a fantastic game. In
Mhm.
overtime, Middleton gives the Bucks the 1-0 series lead.
Yeah.
Now let's stay in the Eastern Conference and go to Brooklyn. Oh wow, just around time. This team right here, fully healthy. Well, not fully healthy, but those three guys, Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving,
Yeah.
playing in a playoff game one, and a little bit of a slow start for them.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, the Celtics got it going early like this, especially from deep. I mean, they was knocking it down. I give credit to Smart, Tatum, and Walker early, also Fournier. Um, but the Nets, I mean, when you have those players, it's laughable.
Exactly. Hey, we talk about it so many times, right? Again, we talked about it last episode, how, like, this Celtics team in the history of being in the postseason, they do not play with a lack of effort. They know better than to
Mm-mm,
play with a lack of effort.
mm-mm.
And that's what they basically did in that first half. They obviously showed how much effort could be on this, how really good they could play when they play with that effort, especially with that historical effort of the Celtics tradition. And they were able to maintain this lead pretty well on this Nets team. Again, just like what you said, slow start, not much to get up on, but it wasn't anything like crazy though. Like, they weren't
Yeah, no.
down huge or anything, but they were down.
They were down, and Boston was playing really well.
Yeah,
That continued. In the second quarter,
yeah.
uh, third quarter hit though, and uh, well, the second half, Kemba and Tatum. What in the world happened? Not Kemba and Tatum. Not just Kemba, not just Tatum. Kemba and Tatum went cold in the second half. Cold.
Yeah. I'm surprised they even stuck into this game with that situation happening.
Well, I'll tell you why they stuck into this game. Robert Williams. What a day for Robert Williams. he had himself a great game defensively.
Mm-hmm.
He was everything. Block, block, block. I mean, I think he set a Celtics franchise record for blocks in the postseason.
Yeah.
I mean, he had what, 8? I think he had 8 blocks on the night.
Yeah.
Like, and 9 blocks on the night. He had 11, 9, and 9 blocks. He stepped up big time, and something that we didn't talk about in our playing predictions is the value of the role players. The role players might be the most important pieces in this postseason.
Yeah.
Because they're the players that you don't expect, that you don't really game plan for.
Yeah.
So when you get those players that come out of nowhere, that either make big shots or have big blocks or big moments, clutch moments late, or when they just come out and have a great game, that can really help your team move on.
Exactly.
And that's what he did. I mean, you got to give that performance up. He played great. Also, Marcus Smart, he played good as well. A little bit up and down here and there, but he played good. And at certain times, the Nets took a little bit to really, push the lead out. It took a little bit, but not too long, because Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, those guys, I mean, just offensive monsters.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous. I mean, they are ridiculous.
Well, I want to talk about the boy named Kevin. Like, he came up big in that third quarter. In that third quarter, he like, man, the show that he was putting on in that second half, especially in that third quarter, to try to will his team back. Like, well, not even try to will, because they weren't even down by that much, but to do what he did was amazing. And Kyrie Irving just putting on a highlight show. Just putting on a straight up highlight
God.
show.
A masterclass.
Exactly, a masterclass highlight show. He was like, "Hey, you want to see entertainment? Come look at me." And that's what he did. Made Fournier touch earth, spinning on a rookie. Marcus Smart, one of the best defenders. He's like, yeah, this doesn't faze me.
I really think there's nobody in this world that can guard Kyrie 1-on-1.
Yeah.
He's just ridiculous. The only way to stop Kyrie is you gotta hope he's just off that night.
Yeah.
Because with his dribble moves, is ridiculous. I mean, you could try to double team him, and if you have the great pieces and the great system and great players around him, it might work. But he's just got to kick it out to Kevin Durant.
Exactly.
And he's got to kick it out to James Harden. And then Joe Harris is going to be on the corner wide open.
And then Landry Shamet.
Then Jeff Green's got to be cutting. And Blake Griffin has got to be in the paint. Like, this Nets team is just ridiculous. And they proved too much for the Celtics late. Yeah. And it also did not help that Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum, they're two best players that they have on the floor now because Jaylen Brown is out.
Yeah.
So we said that Jaylen Brown is a vital piece for this team, and they probably, it's still gonna be hard even if he was there.
Exactly.
Still would have been underdogs if he was there. So that means that Tatum and Walker need to step up and play like how we know that they can play. And they did the complete opposite of that in the second half.
Yeah.
It was very shocking, especially from Tatum. He doesn't have that many. But let's hope he knows it. I mean, coming off of the Heat series where he didn't have the best of games.
Yeah.
But let's hope they can change it up and do something in game 2.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, this could be a short series.
Exactly.
But I don't think that will happen. I mean, they played bad and they were still in it.
Yeah.
So let's give them that. But as a result, it was the Nets picking up the game 1 victory. And last, certainly not least,
I made the prediction. I didn't I say it last episode?
you picked Dallas?
Yeah, I do remember about picking Dallas. I don't remember
In
about
game 1?
yeah.
I gotta watch back. I don't remember you did. I don't remember you did. But hey,
I know
I remember you picked Denver and I picked Portland. So if we're doing that.
Yep.
But Dallas Mavericks. They back again doing this to the Clippers. Again.
Yeah.
I mean, from the first half, you could see the Mavericks, them boys came to play.
Yeah.
You see that man, Luka Doncic, came to play.
Yeah.
This is his only his 7th playoff game. And it's just like he's been to the finals.
Exactly.
He's amazing. He is amazing.
Yeah.
He makes basketball just look so easy.
Well, when you've been doing it since the age of 12 in a league full of grown men in front of their national TV, then yeah, of course you want to make it look so easy.
Yeah, and Paul George, here we go. He looked very pandemic in that first half.
Yes, highly pandemic in that first half. Not being aggressive, pass. Well, I can understand passing out the ball, of course, but like
he was bad shooting night in the first half. He was bad. He wasn't hitting the shots.
Yeah,
he was struggling. Different story in the second half. Paul George got it going, and that's what I like to see. And he played aggressive, and he got in rhythm. He wasn't streaky, and it was great. I mean, I think he was like 6 for 8 at one point in the second half.
Yeah.
So and this was in that second half, in that third quarter. The Mavericks were the ones who had that lead. The Clippers stayed within it though, due to Paul George. Of course, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, playoff Rondo, he's there as well. Nick Batum also stepping up.
Yeah.
Back in the playoffs once again. Don't think he's been in the playoffs since he's been with
Portland.
Yeah, since he's been to Portland. Was he on that Charlotte team that made the playoffs, or was he still in Portland that year? I think he was still in Portland.
I believe he was still in Portland that year.
Yeah. So it's been a long time, Nick.
Yep.
It's been a long time. But hey, he came to play. He did come to play. Then the fourth quarter hit, and it was back and forth till midway. And the Mavericks, and not just Luka, but the Mavericks, Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Tim Hardaway Jr. Man, I mean, they just really got to a point. I mean, they couldn't be stopped offensively. And the Clippers, they couldn't hit their shots on their offensive side.
Yeah.
As well. So Dallas, the game one victory against the Clippers team, looking to embarrass themselves once again. Oh, man. But I want to give credit to the Mavericks, though.
Yeah. Hey, look it. Yeah, I give look it. Great game by the Mavericks, of course. Great win. But hey, again, I think we have a tendency when we see certain things in games and stuff and like that, we have a tendency to just conclude it a little bit sometimes. This is just game one.
I know that. But if it's I only said that because it's the Clippers. That's
yeah, I know.
That's the only reason why I'm not backing out my prediction. I still have the Clippers winning this series.
Yeah.
But it's just like, damn, y'all could have took game one.
Exactly. And sometimes we see similar patterns. Like we thought we was going to see something with Paul George with that similar pattern, like what he had in the first half. but then he changed that up.
Yeah, he did.
Kawhi had a big first half. And like but I didn't. He had a big dunk too.
Oh my god, oh my god, Maxi Cleaver.
That was just
What
so.
a dunk.
Yeah, he had his rhythm going, but it's just like sometimes it's the underdogs usually come out with better energy. That's how it usually is, and that's what the Mavericks showed. They came out with more energy. They came out wanting this more, and I'm not saying that the Clippers didn't want it. Obviously, they wanted it, but sometimes things like this happens, and it's just game one. The Clippers just got to make some adjustments and just please don't do the franchise repeating curse of we just
Yeah.
messing up everything. Don't mess up anything. It's going well. You might have lost, but it went well. You guys were connected. You guys were well. You guys were staying in it. You guys were showing it on both ends still. Stick with it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. But the Mavericks got hot, and they had a great game from deep.
Yeah.
I mean, Luka was killing them from deep. He was killing them.
Luka was coming from all around. Let's just be honest.
Tim Hardaway was killing them from deep.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, his pops was better, but not from three.
Exactly. Shoot that thing, son, that your daddy couldn't do.
I mean, Tim Hardaway is just such a valuable piece to this team as well. I feel like he can be sort of an X factor of sorts because he is that third best player.
Yes,
and he's a good shot creator. He can get his own shot. He's a great 3-point shooter. He's a great shooter in general. And one thing I like the Mavericks do is when they don't just rely on Luka too much, the other guys can get it going. Exactly. They don't say, "Here, Luka, here, take the ball and just take us,"
Yeah, and it's crazy because Porzingis didn't have the best of games himself.
No, he didn't.
And the fact that we're saying this right now, stuff like that, and the fact that they even won by I believe it was by double digits.
Yeah, by 10. Won by 10 off of that late fourth quarter run.
Yeah, it's really telling of how good this Mavericks team offensively is. We talk about it all the time, but let's just be honest. They're really potent. They can kill you in so many ways offensively that, you could blink and you might not see it coming. And by the end of the day, you've been killed by 50.
Yeah, it was because it was guys like Jalen Brunson who stepped up this finishing ability. Guys like Dorian Finney-Smith who was knocking down threes. Guys like Tim Hardaway, as I mentioned, and of course, all of that at the helm, Luka Doncic, a 30-point triple-double. A 30-point triple-double in the playoff game.
Yeah.
In game one. And he's just special. And this Mavericks team, like you said, they are very dangerous offensively. And as a result, they beat the Clippers in game one.
Yeah.
Have the 1-0 series lead. Let's see how the Clippers, if they can bounce back, see what they can do in game two. Make their adjustments. Ty Lue.
Yeah.
But all right. Those are all the games from last night and yesterday. So let's get into the game ones of tonight. Oh, first starting off TNT, 1 o'clock. The 8th seeded Washington Wizards going to Philadelphia to battle the number 1 seeded Philadelphia 76ers. Who do you have in game one?
I got Philly in game one.
I have to agree. I got Philly game one as well. Next up, ABC 3:30. The defending champions, 7th seeded Los Angeles Lakers going to Phoenix, Arizona for the first time 10 years. Suns back into the playoffs. 2nd seed. Who you got in game one?
Home court advantage is on their side. I got the Suns.
And I have to agree with you. I got the Suns in game one as well. Fast forwarding to the night. And we're going to the Garden. TNT, 7 o'clock. The 5th seeded Atlanta Hawks going to Madison Square Garden to battle the 4th seeded New York Knicks.
Hey, I got that team on your head, man.
Yes, game one, Garden going to be rocking. Knicks players gonna be excited.
Yep.
I got the Knicks in game one. And lastly, TNT 930 off of their upsetting win against the Golden State Warriors. The 8th seeded Memphis Grizzlies going to Salt Lake City, Utah to battle Utah Jazz, number 1 seed, best record in the league.
I got the Jazz.
I'm going to go with the upset. I got the Grizzlies in game one. Surprise. Surprise. All right. I think it's time to wrap things up. Ja, any final thoughts?
Just keep it going, man. This is looking like something
Exciting.
Yeah, it's looking like something's brewing in the works. You know what I mean? Don't panic. These are all just game ones. Like, no need to come to a conclusion or anything or try to disrespect or violate somebody or put them in a pressure. Like, this game one.
Paul George, please stay off social media.
Exactly.
Please.
Exactly. And running from the ground. But yeah, it's great. Just keep it up.
Yeah, keep it up. No matter how many people overreact, even if I may overreact or you, John, may overreact in terms of these games. I said it's the best of 7.
Exactly.
Anything can happen. It is never out of reach unless you are down 3-0. I truly believe that is out of reach. But yeah.
Hey, one of these days the team is gonna do that.
I might be dead by then. I don't see that happening at maybe ever at any time soon. Not in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, nothing's out of reach for the most part. And for now, it's only game one. Make your adjustments and come back even harder in game 2.
Exactly.
But with that being said, thank you guys for watching today's podcast. Make sure to tune into tomorrow's podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, short channel, give us feedback, all that good stuff.
Yep. And also tune into our TikTok and our IG down in the description below. And
yes. And once again, I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
And this is Minor Basketball Podcast.
Playoff edition.